Before we move into the session, let me briefly introduce the team behind this initiative. It is the Career Guidance Club of Uva University, a student-focused club which is established in 2023 dedicated to supporting undergraduates in planning and building their professional careers through mentorship programs, workshops, and skill building initiatives. The club aims to help students explore their career paths, enhance professional skills, and make confident career decisions. So, now let me give you a brief overview about what we have stored for you in Career Catalyst 2.0. So this session is specifically designed for third year and fourth year undergraduates who are preparing themselves for internships and future career opportunities. So this session will cover current job market trends, recruiter approved CV writing and ATS systems, personal branding using the IDA model, interview preparation, and professional networking through LinkedIn. Also, the most important thing is an e-certificate will be awarded to all the participants who are remaining until the end of the session. So, before we proceed to the main session, it is important to hear from the leadership behind this initiative. So, now I would like to invite our president, the president of the Career Guidance Club, Tarun Jayasundara, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good evening, everyone. So, warm welcome to you all. So, I am Taruja Sundar, the president of Career Guidance Club. So, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Career Catalyst 2.0, organized by the Career Guidance Suite in collaboration with the Career Guidance Club of Villas University. And we are truly honored to have you, our guest speaker, Mr. Eranga Bowatte, business partnering executive at Virtusa and communication trainer at Beyond the Mic. Sir, thank you for being with us today and sharing your valuable industry insight with our students. So, and I would like to warmly welcome Dr. Gaya Namasuriya, the Director of Career Guidance Unit, and Mr. Akhilavshad Bandara, Career Guidance Council of Career Guidance Club. And thank you for both your consistent guidance and support toward student career development. So this session is open to undergraduate from first year to fourth year with special focus on third year and fourth year students. So help them prepare the internship and future careers, especially. So the topics covered here is CV writing, ATS system, interview preparation, and personal branding, as well as LinkedIn networking. So which are highly relevant to the today's job market. And I'll encourage all participants to be attentive and make the most of this opportunity. So once again, warm welcome everyone, and I hope everyone enjoy a productive and insightful session. Thank you.
Now, it is with the great excitement that I introduce our guest speaker for today. Mr. Eranga Bowatte is a partnering executive at Virtusa and a communication trainer at Beyond the Mic. With hands-on experience working closely with recruiters, professionals, and young talent, his expertise on professional communication has helped many individuals to stand out in today's highly competitive job market. So we are truly honored to have him with us today, and we are confident this session will be a game changer for your career journey. So, Mr. Eranga, the session is now yours.
Okay. Please do confirm if I'm visibly and audibly clear. Um, if I am, I can then start off the session. Am I audible and visible, guys?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the warm introduction. And also to start off with, thank you very much for the invitation from Mr. Akila. Um, and it's a very much a pleasure to do this session as well. Also, thank you very much for Tarul and the Career Guidance Unit team from Virtusa for inviting me and for preparing this entire session as well. So I'll go ahead and share the screens and um, I'll start with the session's introduction. Okay, I'm hoping my screen is visible right now. So yeah, hi everyone. So as introduced, my name is Eranga. I'm currently working as a business partner executive for Virtusa in terms of HR, and also I'm working as a communications trainer for the Beyond the Mic. And this is a very good opportunity for me to work closely with Virtusa. I believe even in the previous year, when I was working at MAS as well, there was an opportunity where I was able to kind of work with Virtusa University and to mingle around with the undergraduates from Virtusa University. So this is another pleasure for me to kind of get in touch with all of you and to give or share my sort of understanding and knowledge in terms of CV writing, interview facing, LinkedIn optimization, and all of these things that can definitely develop your understanding and your capacity towards approaching the corporate world. So again, a warm welcome to all of you, and all of you are welcome to ask questions. If you have any doubts in certain areas, or if you think that this idea might not be suitable for you or might kind of waver in your opinion, you can always just let me know. That is absolutely open. This is an open mic and open chat session as well. But in terms of if there are any questions, if I'm not able to, grasp here, I'll definitely do some pulse checks in between, and we can then check on those questions as well. So without further ado, without the chitty blabber, we'll get into the session, and I hope this will be informative as well. So yes, just a little bit about my journey. So I've in the year of 2019, I actually joined the Sri Lankan Naval Forces, doing a training for as an officer undergraduate or officer under trainee in the Sri Lankan Navy, and I've done a 2-year military training as well, which then unfortunately I had to resign due to an critical injury on my leg. However, I didn't stop there. I kept pursuing my higher studies, graduate studies as well, information technology, in the stream of information technology. But then, of course, I was involved with different stuff during that time as well, being an ISECer, and all these things as well. But when I transitioned into the corporate world, it was very difficult from going into a military life into a corporate world. But it was a very smooth transition because of the people I worked with in MAS. So that is where I kind of, platooned into understanding about what is the professional development goals and settings that are required for an undergraduate to get into the corporate world. When I was placed as an intern, business partnering intern initially, and then afterwards I was able to become an executive for global employee engagement and talent attraction. So I was able to mingle around with the undergraduates from different universities, from Japura to Uvavellas as well, Monatua, private universities as well. So that was a very good opportunity, and this is why these topics are very much easier for me to kind of explain and give you the best of understanding, because I've been working in these things as well. So yes, this is a little bit about my journey. That's more than enough. So throughout this whole time, you will kind of see certain words and certain phrases that you might, need to kind of keep in mind as well. So one specific word or a phrase is what I would always say to anyone is, you always picture yourself to be a brand. Now, the word brand has a lot of meaning towards it, but a lot of people get confused with it, saying that brand is basically marketing. Like it's the same thing as marketing, which is true to a certain extent. But marketing is more into how you visually represent a product, right? Product, it can be a company, it can be a product, it can be anything. So that is marketing. But what is actually a brand? Is there anyone who has an answer apart from being from ChatGPT? But does anyone have an answer for what is a brand? You can use the chat. You can use, you can open mic it, anything. What do you guys think a brand is? Any answers?
A reputation.
A reputation. Very good. Okay, that's a good answer. What else? Come on, simple question. A brand. You guys know a lot of brands. You guys.
Others.
Sorry.
Being unique among others.
Being unique among others. Okay. I think that's the spot on answer that I was kind of looking for as well. Yes, it is a reputational, it is being unique among others. But in a nutshell, what brand really means is how you are meant to feel about a certain product or a company or an individual. That is what a true brand really is. What a brand specifically is not just about the marketing, it's about how you're supposed to feel about something, right? It can be the reputation, it can be how you are meant to be diverse from the crowd. So that is what a true brand should represent. So what I want you to know is each and every one of you are already a brand. In your graduate life, you are always kind of getting certain add-ons to the brand, basically like certifications or knowledge or extracurricular activities, sports, networking. All these things are basically add-ons into your own brand. But what your brand really is how you are looked into from the corporate world. That is where, and that is how you are meant to be looked, to be elevated into the brand, into the corporate world as well. So picture of yourself being a brand. Okay. Before we go into more into about that and more into about how brand really numbs into what we are going to talk about is, you should know this as well. So there are going to be so many opportunities for you as an undergraduate, especially this opportunity as well, for you to learn something new or for you to learn or to brush off something that you already know about. That is all an opportunity that you will be getting, you already got. right? So nothing is more expensive than that of a missed opportunity. So keep that in mind while we keep on going with this session. So yes, like I talked about a lot of stuff. Now, keeping that, you are a brand in mind, we are of course going to be talking about, CV writing, interview mastery, and all these things. But these two things, interview mastery and CV writing, kind of goes aligned to each other. You cannot go into an interview without having a good profile to show as well. So, and also you cannot create a profile unless you're good at explaining what you do. So those two things go actually aligning to each other, what we could call as yin and yang as well of the corporate world. So all of you know this, this is a very useful product we use, or I hope all of us use as well on a daily basis, which is a toothpaste, right? Now, could you guys, obviously with all of your expertise in this knowledge as well, could you please, maybe drop down a few toothpaste brands that you know? Can be anything. It can be the one that you use today morning as well. What are certain toothpaste brands? Okay, we got one. That's Signal. Okay, Signal is a good toothpaste brand. Klogard, yes. What else? Signal, Klogard. What does the kids like? Youngsters use as very youngsters. Close up, yes. That's also a good. Close up, okay. Any more? Any more? Colgate, yes. What else? Some Sri Lankan brands you may know. Some Sri Lankan used brands. Supiriviki, yes. Siddhanta, Sudhanta, I believe. Yes, Sudhanta. Yes, good, good. Maybe to a much more younger crowd, there is that specific toothpaste brand, which I think is kind of confusing sometimes as well. But nonetheless, that's great. I loved seeing that you guys have a lot of understanding. Close up, good. Okay, good. You guys have a good understanding of what it is. Sensodyne, yes. All right. So that Sri Lankan brand I was talking about was Kakulu. Yes. So kudos to all of you. You guys mentioned majority of these toothpaste brands inside this slide as well. But yes, all these toothpaste brands, we always use it daily. But what do we actually do? Like we clean our teeth, but we clean our teeth for different purposes. Maybe it's to have a refreshing refreshing what do you call it, sense of smell to someone when you open your mouth, or it could be to destroy bacteria, or it could be to protect your gums, or it could be to kind of refresh your mouth, and all these different purposes, different reasons you may use, or even it could be because you want to follow the trend of, okay, everyone is waking up in the morning, brushing their teeth, everyone is brushing their teeth before they go to sleep, or they brush their teeth, even during the afternoon, different reasons, different understandings, different perceptions. But all of them actually account for the same reason or for the same goal. All of these things Signal can specifically do. All of these things can be done by Kroger. All of these things can be done by Sudhanta. All of these things can be done by Kakulu. These are very general kind of reasons, right? Sensodyne, all those things can be done by close-up, all those as well. But what differentiates each of these are the product's actual target audience, it could be, or the product's actual different sense of, what do you call it, chemical diverse solutions. Maybe, Kakulu is using this Ayurvedic sense of touch, and Klogard is using a much more refreshing tool. And, Close Up is similarly to that as well. Signal is the most general brand of toothpaste. If someone asks you about a toothpaste like I did, first thing that comes to your mind is Signal sometimes. So all of these do things for the same goal, but they share a different purpose or different story, right? Now I want all of you to picture yourself being a toothpaste. You all share the same goal at the very initial level, which is to get into the corporate world. For this is going to be your competition. That is the main idea I want you all to have. You are competing with each other, not just on your own, technical understandings or your educational backgrounds, or not just your qualifications, but you're also competing with each other in terms of your values that you seek to promote, and also, of course, your way of working with a team, your way of understanding things, your way of adapting to new things, your way of learning, your way of handling different difficult tasks. These are the ones that kind of differentiate you from one another. This could be the simple reason why you will be selected or you will not be selected for a specific position. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The more we go in this session, the more you will understand why this is the most crucial thing in this corporate world battle. All right, so you all know about this, right? This is the icon of a very famous platform that maybe many of you use daily as well. It's YouTube, right? So we know when we go to watch a YouTube video, there is a lot of YouTube videos that are monetized, right? So normally these YouTube videos be monetized, they have a time of how a specific ad takes place, right? Let's say you play a video of YouTube, maybe in regards to tutorial to how to use a computer. I don't know, just the top of my head. How you use a computer. That's the video you're going to watch. Now, just even maybe in the first initial minute, you may face a YouTube advertisement. It can be a product that is being, branded to be sold or anything like that. That will be advertised, right? So I want to ask you guys a question, and similarly, I want answers from all of you as well. How long do you see that ad until you get the time to click on that skip ad button? How long does it take? What's the time threshold? You can be right, you can be wrong. You don't need to be exactly perfect on it. What do you guys think? Okay. Great. 5 seconds. Okay, great. Good answer. What are the others? Any other answers? 5 seconds apart from 5 seconds? Also, I know in terms of current YouTube platform, there are, of course, different times, like how they kind of let you skip an ad. So I know that, keeping in account of that, what is the average time it takes normally? 5 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay, good. Any other answers? Going once, going twice. Okay, sold. So we'll stick to 5 seconds. Web is closed. It is 5 seconds normally, but casually it will take around this time, right? 6 seconds. Normally it's around 6 seconds. The delay of 1 second maybe because of the latency lag or something like that. But yeah, 6 seconds. You are skipping an ad, or if you want to watch an ad, that's your own opinion. But to watch the actual video in 6 seconds. That's how long your mind takes to skip an ad. Now, bear in mind, these ads are not made within just a day, or maybe they are, but most of the ads, they are taking a lot of production cost, a lot of energy, a lot of time, effort, human working hours, labor, venues, locations, 3D analyzing, such and such. A lot of effort has been put into creating that advertisement. But what do? We are very selfish and we are very stingy. We do not watch that ad even more than just the time it comes to skip an ad. That's our mindset, right? That's how we skip this ad. But all in all, that's how long it takes for it to be skipped. Do you know this is the same time that it takes for a recruiter to skip your ad when they receive your CV, not to skip your ad, to skip your CV or to reject or to accept your CV, this is how long it takes. Given that the recruiter gets around thousands to 2000s of CVs per day, this is how long it takes as an average to skip a CV. So this 6 seconds might be the most defining 6 seconds of your life sometimes into getting into an entry level job. So for all the hard work you do, this 6 seconds is what it matters. So yep, and this is how the recruiter will definitely perceive. So yeah, so now you know. Now a lot of these efforts are going to be put into waste sometimes if you do not know how to create a proper CV. Now there are so many ways of you having to craft your CV in a good standard, not to be perfect, but in a good standard where you do not be skipped, where you do not be, judged upon as well. CVs are not judged. CVs are documents where they test in how you interpret your qualifications, your background of work, and also how you craft your profile as well. That's how a CV is looked into. CV is basically like also a personal document because it has all your contact details, it has all your accomplishments, qualifications, all these things jotted down into a document. It could be very close to how you perceive your passport or your national ID sometimes. I know you give a lot of your CVs away, so they should be handled in care. They should have to contain the necessary information as well. So yeah, there are many ways to craft your CV. So we'll see how some of these CVs, what are the main times or main situations certain CVs get rejected and certain CVs get accepted as well. There are many occasions where certain CVs might actually get rejected, but there are certain occasions that those reasons can also be evaded and they might be accepted as well. So let's look into what sort of times these are certain. I'm going to show you some sample CV snapshots. You can just let me know what are the errors that you may find where this CV got rejected. So yeah, starting off with this. Now, this is a very simple sample. So you can find, certain reasons as to why this CV could be rejected, right? So I want you to, this is a very simple solution. I think you guys can, nap it down in 1 second. Just let me know what is the visually catching thing that you identified first, and why would this CV be rejected? What do you guys think? I need some answers. It's a very simple example. It can be right, it can be wrong. That's completely fine. What do you think? Okay, one person said survey/server. Okay, good. Grammatical mistakes. Good. Yes, exactly. Good job. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So they have made certain spelling mistakes, especially on the most important things certain times where where we kind of put into what our job applications are, or maybe this could be where you put your project title as well. So certain grammar mistakes could lead into misinterpretation, miscommunication, and errors in terms of understanding what this individual has done. So make sure when you do provide your CV or craft your CV for the very first time, it can be for the second time, it can be for the third, you get it evaluated by someone, right? You let this CV be seen by someone else and get their opinions or their feedback onto your CV as well. So let's say, for example, I'm applying for an internship for software engineering. I want my CV to be judged by someone who's into the IT field. It can be someone who's into the IT field. It can be someone from HR. It can be someone who, it can be even your closest friend. That's completely fine. Who can identify and give you some critique, understanding of what your CV is, right? So these certain mistakes can be, eradicated in just a few seconds if you are able to get some feedback on it. So yeah, good job on finding what that error was. Let's go on to the next one. So look, this is now a little bit more tricky. Just have a go through of what this is. So sometimes, you know, of course, since we are still all undergraduates here, I believe, you know, sometimes you might not be able to see this work experience in our CVs at the moment, of course. So sometimes, but some people may do. But however, just let me know how you guys might see this CV be rejected. Any answers? I don't think from the right get-go you might not be able to see it, but that's okay. Incorrect Gmail, okay. Good answer. Very good answer. Anything else? Okay, a quick question. Amidst until people put some answers. A quick question. With a show of hands, maybe, I don't know, I think you can raise your hand in this as well. Just let me know how many people are currently involved in the, like, or maybe like, you know, are having done an internship or currently in an internship at the moment in this. Who's current? Just maybe a show of hands. Maybe I can see that as well. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just let me know how many, like, you know, maybe you guys can raise your hand. How many of you are actually currently under an internship or is working at the moment? Is there anyone? You can raise hands, right? Okay, maybe if not, that's okay. So okay, if no one's in an internship, that's much better. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, this is a little bit of an understanding. If you were in a work experience kind of way, how you put your CV down is this can, if you guys can see my pointer as well. So responsible for receiving calls from customers, tasked with updating clients or connection status, try to create positive rapport with customers, use software to log customer feedback. So the error here is, even though it's not fully visual in the first few seconds, these are certain things that the recruiter kind of gets to see sometimes, where the individual has only shown or only have represented very kind of non-technical things that the person might have done inside their work experience, right? So try, you know, a customer service representative normally would have a lot more to do apart from doing just, you know, try to create a positive rapport or those kind of things. They will have to kind of create maybe a CRM or maybe how to create some data analysis onto how many connections they have done with the customers and a lot more into their JD, which they haven't specifically put, but they have only put very certain things that might not be, you know, required for the CV to be having. It could be said in an interview, it could be said, you know, during any conversation with the recruiter, but it doesn't always naturally be required inside a CV. What would be much better would be how you could put maybe you have done a lot of more analysis and you have created dashboards, or you have given instructions on creating dashboards, or you have given your own perceptual understanding of these things. That's completely fine. But you know, the most important things are like that. So that's a small thing. That's not a big issue. Okay, now this is an interesting one. So right off the get-go, what is the main kind of highlight you can see that this CV definitely gets rejected? What's the main, or the main few ones actually? There are a few actually. So what are you guys' thoughts? You can use the chat, you can use your mic, completely fine. What do you guys think? What might be the reason? Any answers? Going once? Going twice? Okay. Okay, one has said the profile picture. Yes, very good. Very good answer. Anything else? Too distractive. Very good. Anything else? What more? Too distractive, profile picture, anything else? Font style? Okay. Okay. Good. Not professional looking? Great. Okay, good answers. Good answers. Yes. Okay, so very good. Very great answers. Actually, it dims down to everything I wanted to say as well. Poor alignment, not ATS friendly. Very correct. Okay, so before we get into an understanding what ATS really is, that's why I don't touch upon that much at the moment. So yeah, these are actually good answers, very good answers. Not using bullet points. Yes. Okay, that's also a very good answer. So yeah, you guys actually have nailed it in all of your answers. So there are very few things you didn't catch as well, which I will kind of first maybe say. So when you kind of look into this contact details here as well, right? Phone number, all right, that's correct. You put your phone number. You may have to actually put your address as well, which is one key thing that this individual hasn't included in his CV. It is paramount important that you have your address in anywhere of the CV, because the reason why is because let's say you're going for an job opportunity. You're located actually in, maybe let's say you're located in Kandy. So there is a huge distance difference where you won't be able to commute easily to this location of the workplace, right? So because of that, certain times if the address is not available, this CV can be rejected accordingly as well. So like one, I believe, I'm sorry, I couldn't find the name. It's Geetal. Yes, Geetal has identified correctly. It is not ATS friendly. ATS basically is automated tracing system, which is used for CVs to be, when you upload your CV into some advert application, anything, it goes through a system called ATS, the automated tracing system, where it identifies certain formatting gaps, and especially when it comes to how you aligned your font, how you put your profile picture, sometimes how much of colors you have used, whether it be too contrasting from each other, whether the words are not actually corresponding to a proper sentence. Those kind of things are mainly tracked and they are rejected. So ATS is something very difficult to get by sometimes as well. So maybe around 20 to 30% of the CVs do get rejected from that initial phase of ATS tracking itself. So yeah, that's something you need to be cautious about as well. So getting back here as well. So yes, address is a very key important thing that, certain people do not put. Make sure to put it as well. At least if you are not, comfortable putting your house number or anything like that, you can definitely avoid that, but you can at least put where the location you are. So you can say either you're from Jaila, Kandana, Katugastata, somewhere, anywhere. You can put all those things, Candy or whatever. So yeah, that's one key important thing. The other is the email. So when you're putting out a CV to a person, for them to kind of contact you back, it should be a proper professional mail. Now, I'm not saying, Pink Panther 231 would be the most ideal email to use. You can definitely try out those emails into different other requirements. But when it comes to the corporate world and when it comes to the professional world, let's say, having an email unprofessionally, you might have gotten through. That's completely all right. You might have gotten through. However, there could be a conversation that would come in a certain point of time, which would critique you just to that point of you not having a proper email. So in terms of a proper email, your first name, your last name, and maybe a number if you would like to just keep away from, having default email issues, that is completely fine. But having certain emails like this, the ham man, if it is that person's name, that's completely fine. But certain times where the email doesn't correspond to what it would feel like a professional email, those would get rejected. So yeah, those are certain things to keep in mind. Another which was outlined properly was the profile picture. Yes, correct. Now in the profile picture, when it comes to ATS friendly profile pictures are normally not looked into or rejected certain times. They often go to the recruiter directly. So in a profile picture, it's normally great to have your picture from the waist level and above. So the person, obviously, whatever we need to find through a profile picture is basically your facial recognition purposes. That's all. So if this person is this person, when you come to an interview, if you have put your, the time you might have found a picture from a, very young time of yours, maybe even a baby picture of yours into the CV, that won't work, right? You need to have the most updated picture, at least the recent couple of years into the CV. And for it to have a proper outfit as well, which are not too revealing for ladies, and for gentlemen to not have, shades, of course, because shades are covering up the most crucial important point of your facial recognition, which is the eyes. So those things are not, not professional, and they are not, ethical in a CV writing way as well. So you need to kind of avoid those things. Better to keep in mind waist level, above, good outfit, and also avoid using things that cover up the majority of your face. Okay, so that's that. Apart from that, over here, I hope you guys can see my point as well. Certain things like these, unless this is like, let's say you're applying for a marketing job role or something to do with marketing, and if they have specifically required a marketing or a graphic portfolio, then this would be okay. I wouldn't say it will work, but it will be okay if that is how the industry looks into a CV. But in terms of a general overview, these are not good to have in terms of this. The font, try to have, this font would be okay. But in terms of how you affect or use effects for it, just keep in mind those things would be a definite negative to your CV. So yeah, these are the same things. I don't have to kind of tell you using imagery. It's better to have less elements used inside your profile for inside your CV in terms of interpretation requirements, right? And even here, skills, when you put out skills, you do not always need to put like this. So you don't need to say you're very bad at Italian language. You can always say that you're good at a certain bilingual, understanding bilingual by sense. You can use different languages. Keeping it cool, you don't need to put that as well. You don't need to put the pool of coins like one person has identified, Naika as well has identified. Yes, you don't need all of these elements. You don't need all of these things. Very simple is how a CV should look like. Okay, given that I've used a lot of the time for this, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is a very simple, very quick understanding of why this CV could get rejected. So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? Quickly, one simple answer should get it.
Excuse me, sir, I have a small concern.
Okay, yes, please do. Ask.
Since you talked about adding a profile picture to the CV, I wanted to ask this. I have seen some YouTube videos and also some social media reels saying that sometimes you can't skip off adding a profile picture to your CV. What they say is that sometimes you can be judged if you have put a photo to your CV. So now I have created my own CV now. Now I have not added a one, but I have not applied to any company or something. But I have just one. So just wanted to know um, about that. Like, is it okay if I don't have put a picture to my CV, or is it compulsory?
That's a very good question, Tevini. Thank you so much for that question. A very good question. So now in terms of your confidentiality, in terms of how you're represented into the professional world, yes, certain times these understandings of being judged are sort of, arising in how the corporate world is built around these days. But what I want you guys to know is that is definitely a customable when it comes to after entry-level job roles. But for entry-level job roles, especially for internships, the suggestion is to have a professional picture. And the reason why is because into an entry-level job role, not many people would know you or who you are, right? You are always being competed by people who would be known by someone or who would not be known by someone. So that is the reason why there is a requirement in having a professional profile picture, because having a professional profile picture is less likely for you to be judged as well. And in terms of being judged or having those, etiquettes of the corporate etiquettes in certain workplaces, it is very common those kind of issues do come across as well. But also it is the negate, or it is wrong to have those kind of certain level of judgments and all those things, which are now kind of reduced and mitigated at the moment. But in a general perspective, you need to have a profile picture in order to showcase yourself in a way that, okay, so this is the person that I'm interviewing to the recruiter, because the recruiter is a person who may or may not know you for who you are when they get your CV, especially because they go through thousands of CVs each and every day. Of course, they might misinterpret who you actually are. So it's a very good understanding that you need to have the professional profile picture in place because of that reason, and for not to be, having that perception of it being judged. If it is difficult or if it is uncomfortable for you, you can definitely skip it. That is completely all right. But it is more applicable or better if you could use a professional profile picture. It is all up to you. I hope that cleared the air on that, Devini. That worked for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, amazing. Any other questions? That's completely fine. I love hearing questions. Yes, I believe that's Sarindu. In this next slide, yes, that is the font style that the issue here is. So many of these times where the CV would be prepared, certain times, these kind of issues might not be the biggest issues for you. Biggest issues someone might come across is, how do I place my, alignment into the CV, or how do I put certain things that are needed for the CV, which we'll go through after showing these issues and all, what are required for the CV. But when you actually put your CV down, these things would be, missed from you, and these might be the main reasons why this CV could be rejected, right? So you seeing this right now gives you the understanding, okay, there is an attempt to make it professional, but it is not professional yet as well. So yeah, that would be the main reason why this CV got rejected, because of not having a good font style. So good font styles, up to you. There are many hundreds and thousands of professional font styles, mainly being Calibri, Times New Roman, Arial. Those are the main, of course, what we know of as professional standard font styles. But you can always experiment around by certain others. What I use personally is Leto, Poppins, in different given situations, because they do have a very modern professional look as well, which I'll show across in my CV as well. So yeah, that is one reason as to why as well. Okay, another question that was put. So when we put our picture into the CV, should be black and white or color? That's a very good question. It doesn't matter much. It can be black and white, it can be colored, because when you give out your CV to a recruiter in a physical space, you might take a black and white copy, you might take a colored copy. That is completely not an issue at all. It can be whatever color is completely fine. It's just to have a picture is the requirement. That is all. But again, that is up to you. If you are, wanted to keep the confidentiality in terms of, representation, that is up to you. But yeah, it is more better if it is there. In terms of it being black and white or color, it's completely all right. Whichever is fine. I hope that answered the question. Okay, moving on to the next one, which is this. Now, this is a very funny one. I want you guys to, identify this, the reason why this CV got rejected. Why do you guys think this CV got rejected? Okay. One person has put like a newspaper. That's a very, very good answer. Okay, do we need to add soft skills? I'll come to that. That's a very good answer. Objective. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, any other? What was the, just have a go through. I'll give you guys a minute. Just go through this few passages this person has written and let's see what. Until you guys go through, I'll just answer that question. Do we need to add soft skills to our CV? I wouldn't recommend adding soft skills persons. If it is certain skills like you being bilingual or having a good knowledge of different expertise. Maybe you are a business management student having IT expertise, or you're an IT student having business management expertise, marketing expertise, those kind of things. That's different. It's not soft skills. It's different. But in terms of in leadership qualities, in values like that, I wouldn't recommend it because they could take much more space, and those space could be given to much more really required reasons. Per se, let's say you are needing to put educational qualifications, but you don't have space because you put a lot of soft skills. These things called soft skills could be easily said during the interview phase, and you don't need to put it into the CV phase. Not professional looking. Okay, good. I hope that answered your question, Nadish. Yes, not professional looking, like a newspaper, objective. Any other question? Oh yeah, by the way, am I seeing the entire group chat or am I just seeing direct messages? No, I'm seeing all the group messages. Yeah, any other things that you guys might see in this? Basically, given the fact that you can see and identify, I don't want to kind of put it all over the way. So yes, this CV is rejected because how they have explained what I believe Nadish has asked as well. Leadership, dedication, whether they are actually required to be put, it's up to you. I wouldn't recommend it because you can put much more things that are really valuable for you. And even if you do put, when you do put something out, make sure they have a valued sense towards the corporate industry you're working for. Let's say you're working for a gaming industry, this might be successful. That's completely fine. But even if it's for a gaming industry, if you're working for a gaming developer or a software developer or whatever the field that you're working for, certain things like these would be definitely a no-no. And you need to know certain times when these kind of things do come up, the recruiter would never look at what are there in the CV. When they see this itself, they will definitely reject it on the spot. So founded one of the best RuneScape clans in history with over 400 members and 300 billion total experience. Help train new employees. Yeah. So why don't you put help train new employees at the trade shows in Mount Clair, New Jersey first? Right, dedicated hundreds of hours training in League of Legends, finally reached platinum tier this November. Spent my summer helping my grandpa renovate his porch last year. That's the dedication. So yeah, in terms of qualifications, what are the most necessary qualifications are your educational qualifications, if you have your degree, if you don't have your degree, or what are any certifications you have done, if you have done a diploma, if you have done higher educational, like advanced levels or honorary levels. We'll get into how you can put advanced level. If you are going to put your advanced level, this thing, you don't need to put advanced level if you have already started your degree to Virtusa. I'm pretty sure you require your advanced levels. But if you come through a diploma, a high national diploma, something like that, you can put like that. But you don't need to put your A-level results, like, you know, you got a, for science, you've got A, for maths, you've got B, for English, you've got C. That's not required. Only if you really require to put it, you put it. But if it's absolutely not required at all, because if you got into a degree, you definitely would have got through something, right? So that is definitely not. You can put what the degree is. When you're saying that you're doing a degree, what we notably say in a professional way is you're reading a degree. It's not how you know, open the book and read, but reading means like you're doing the degree at the moment, right? So yeah, that's pretty much that. So yeah, that's a little bit of an understanding here. So these are things that you don't really need to have. Objective, again, you don't need to put an objective to your CV normally. It's best if you put who you are is, like maybe a about me section. That's completely fine. That's really good if you do have as well. Okay, I believe this might be the last one. Yes, this is the last one. So yeah, we'll go through this last one and just let me know, what do you guys think? What is the reason that this CV would have been rejected? It's a pretty tough one, I'm not gonna lie. Any answers? What do you guys think? It's a pretty tough one. Even if you guys don't get it, that's completely all right. Wrong answers, correct answers, there's nothing like that. You can definitely put it out. What do you guys think? Okay, since it's a tough one, maybe we'll go with that. No email. Yeah, let's, of course, take away the context. They don't have the contact details. Yes. No email is not there. Yes. Contact is, of course, not there. Yes. Those are things that are not there. Yes. Apart from that, what's actually in here is what I'm like saying. Why would a recruiter, you know, see this, and what would a recruiter see this and understand? Let's phrase it that way. If you were a recruiter, why would you reject this CV? Yeah, okay, that's a good answer. Summary, yes. In part of the summary, what would be the reason why? This is a good answer, by the way. Okay. Moksha has given it, I think, on the spot. Yes, lots of language difficulty of understanding is presented, basically, right? So if you look at the language this person has used, yes, summary is last. Okay, that's good. In terms of what the actual thing, summary is also, again, I think what this person is trying to say is like about me kind of section, which can be in the beginning. It's better to have it in the beginning than the end. You don't have to have a summary at the end as well. So yeah, in terms of the language this person has put into, it's a very difficult to understand kind of a language as well. As you can see, like, you know, orchestrated a harmonious symphony of operational efficiency at the culinary front line, exhibited preternatural multitasking dexterity, choreographing a seamless dance between prepping, cooking, and assembling gastronomic masterpieces with virtuosic finesse. Now, this person is not, if you would think a politician, no, this person is not even like, you know, in terms of doing dancing as well. This person is a culinary expediter who would most likely be into how would you say, into the quality assurance side of food and beverages industry, right? Burgatory. Yes. So this person is definitely giving the wrong impression to the recruiter just by the words this person are using. It's very good if you're able to use good English. That's very good. But if you're using English, you need to make sure whatever the English that you're using is very simple and easier to understand, and is also similarly professional, right? So in this very simple line of saying, administered rigorous quality assurance protocols ensuring absolute adherence to uncompromising standards, you can say have administered quality assurance protocols ensuring that nothing has gone different to the standards that are outlined by the company. Very simple, yet giving the same meaning as to not using very difficult words. It is up to you again, but these kind of things would leave the recruiter be more, what do you call it? It would give the recruiter less of a good impression about you. In understand, you don't know how to put out what you want to do into the sentence properly, into the CV properly. So that's a small thing that you need to make sure that it doesn't happen. All right. I hope this is clear. So before we go into the section where I show you of my CV as well, just to give you a representational understanding, do you guys have any questions? Any questions up to now? Okay. If there are no questions, that's completely fine. We'll move into the the CV of mine, so that I can show you as what a CV could look like as well. Sorry, I'm getting okay. I got another question. So is LinkedIn profile as I believe as important in modern CV? We'll get to that. That's a very good question. What I would say is, your LinkedIn profile should be similarly updated as to how your CV is updated as well, right? So when you have your CV and when you update your CV, you need to make sure your LinkedIn profile is updated simultaneously as well. Because however much your CV is updated, certain times the recruiter will go into the LinkedIn profile of yours to see if it's similar or if it is having the same level of gravity of what you're saying in your CV as well. So what I suggest you to do is, if you're updating your CV, you need to update your LinkedIn. And if you're updating your LinkedIn, you need to update your CV. These both need to go neck and neck with each other in terms of being updated. I hope that question answered. We'll go through the LinkedIn profile as well. So yeah, this is a little bit of my CV as well. So as you can see, I've just put my name, my title currently, but if you don't have a title, that's completely fine. You can put maybe an aspiring software engineer, or you can just leave it out and just have your name. That's completely enough, right? But yeah, you can even, you don't need to put these designs it's not very required, but if you want to give that little bit of a minimalistic sense, which work for me, by the way, the CV works for me. That's why I put that design. It's not too distracting. It's giving a little bit of a nice designing kind of way as well, to show that I'm okay. So this is something that I created that works with this design as well. So yeah, this is what I did. I put my name, I put my title, I put a little about me section as well to say, okay, this is who I am. I put my profile picture. This is something I took in the last year. So this works as well. So my CV is 2-paged, right? So people are naturally confused. Is this enough to be, is a CV required only to be into a 1-pager? It depends. If your CV could be put into 1 page, go for it. If it cannot, that's completely fine to have a 2-pager, but it is, better if you could put it to 1 page, but if it's difficult, it is still fine to have 2 pages, but not more than 2 pages. Okay. So in terms of work experiences, you can put all the work experiences you have done. If you have no work experiences, you can put your what you call your projects that you're currently working on or you have worked on previously in this section as well. So I've given us a simple summary of the work I've done in Virtusa, in the work I've done in MAS as well, in terms of both my employments. So that is that section. But before that, your personal details, make sure to put your email, your contact number, your LinkedIn account, your address if you need this. That is, again, if you don't need to put your house number, your anything else apart from the location, that's completely fine. Your license and certifications, your work experiences, that's that. You put all these things into the first page, and if you have any other work experiences, or if you have any other extracurricular activities, you can put it into the next page as well. So current communication trainer, having to done a lot of training sessions previously, having to done branding and design strategy in a small startup, and in the Sri Lanka Navy, that's also there. And in terms of international work experiences, currently I'm working in ISEC International in 3 different job roles as well. And also I have done all these extracurricular activities as well. In terms, if you have any awards and recognitions, you can put a different section for that. Sports, education, you can put all of that as well. Now, here is the key important part, which I want you guys to keep in mind is why or what is actually a reference, right? A reference is basically someone who can give you, or who can give the recruiter an understanding of how you are working, or who are you as a person. So reference should normally be someone who is not your closest family background or your family background, but a person you have worked with inside of the industry, maybe, or maybe your professor, or maybe even a senior to you. That is completely fine, right? But normally, this question is not asked by entry-level job role, but normally recruitments requirement of the reference would come at the last interview stage. Basically, let's say at the time where you are almost to get into the job role. Let's say maybe when you have already completed your, all the other applications, all these things, and you have faced all the interviews. In the final interview, that's when they ask for your reference. Now, in terms of putting your reference into your CV, it is up to you. References, again, are something that is basically information of someone else. It can be, your best, it can be your, a person's contact details, right? So if you're putting your professor into the reference, it can be that person's contact email, contact number as well. So that's confidential, or that's personal information of that person, right? So when you use personal information of that person, you must get the consent of that person as well. But again, if you or that person feels uncomfortable to put it into the CV where you put it everywhere, you can avoid putting it, and you can provide it when it is required. Hence why I've kept it in this section saying, will kindly provide when required. So that is up to you. Again, if you want to put your references here, right then and there, that's completely up to you. But if you want to put it maybe some other time, that's up to you again. So yeah, that's a small thing to keep in mind. So yes, educational, international work experience, all these things. A very summarized, jotted down CV, which can be easily passed through the ATS, and also which is pretty much easily understandable and quickly to get your information jotted down as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about what your CV should be as well, right? Now let's go into, before we go into LinkedIn, do you have any questions until we wrap up the CV section of this session? going once, going twice. It's either you understood everything or you didn't understand anything. If you do have any questions, you can open the mic and ask, or if you have any questions, you can put in the chat. That's completely all right. I'm thinking it's in the upper section saying that you understood everything, but if you didn't understand, again, you feel free to ask. All right, let's get into the LinkedIn section. I hope you guys can see my screen as well. So in terms of LinkedIn, how you use LinkedIn, what is LinkedIn and all these things, pretty much LinkedIn is like the social media for the corporate world, right? LinkedIn can be used in different ways and in different requirement purposes as well. If you are a person who is new to LinkedIn, or if you don't have a LinkedIn account right now, I suggest you make a LinkedIn account for yourself right now itself, because LinkedIn is where you can explore opportunities, what do you call it? Network with individuals who you are going to work in the industry with, and get their exposure, get their understandings, and see how you can work around with LinkedIn at a threshold as well. So make sure you get a LinkedIn account created by today, or at least if you do have a LinkedIn account, make sure it's up to date, right? So, LinkedIn account, I don't need to say it, how you normally use your social media. You input your correct details. You put your current situation. If you're a business partner, if you're not a person with a job role, that's completely fine. You can put yourself as an undergraduate, and if you're working somewhere, you can put those information as well. And you can put a very simple background in the back. This is requiring for me for my international purposes, hence why I put it. You can put an about description about yourself, what you're doing right now, simply a summary of what or who you are and what you're looking forward to do as well. And in terms of, I'll come to this section later, which is the posting section. In terms of your work experiences, if you have any work experiences, you can put them here. Again, when you're putting work experiences, make sure to put the different locations or different industry you're working in. If you're working in a company right now, it's better if you link it up with a company's mail. So let's say you're working when I'm working at Virtusa, I'm using my company's mail to be verified as a person from this company. So there is a verification that you're from this company, hence why it is verified for me in here as well. This verification comes if you have completed your verification in terms of your company you have inputted into LinkedIn. You can't put you're working in Google, you're working in MS, or you're working somewhere. If you do not have any sort of allegation of working there at all, right? If you're working there, that's how you can put that you're working there with a verification through your mail. So it's better to be verified about it than not. Put your educations, whatever the qualifications or anything that you have, you can put all those education requirements for your licenses and certifications, separate tab. You put all of these things because those are very valuable. If you have any volunteering, you can put that as well. Skills, you can put any sort of skills in terms of your work environment. If it's not in your work environment, you can still allocate these skills into your extracurricular activities or your volunteering experiences as well. And this is a very good part into getting into the corporate world as well, is to how you get recommendations. So recommendations is a tab where a lot of the recruiters do kind of look into to get an understanding of, okay, this person is someone who has worked with this person and has an idea of how he works as well. So this is very similar to what we call as references as well. So similar to that is how in LinkedIn it is called recommendations, right? So get some recommendations and you can give some recommendations as well, right? So make sure to do that in your own time. These are certain things that you can do to improve your LinkedIn account further. In terms of award recognitions and all those things, you can put them down here as well. So yeah, if you have any interested companies or those, you can put that as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about LinkedIn. What I suggest, okay, before that as well, make sure you put out posts. It can be random posts, it can be whatever the post that you put out. Make sure to put out posts that could be easily reached out to. a person into your industry. So if it's in the IT industry, if it's in recruitment industry, if it's in whatever the industry that you're working for, if you're wanting to get a little bit of a network into that industrial section, it's better to put some post out there to keep being updated in LinkedIn as well, right? So yeah, that's pretty much that in terms of posting and in terms of updating your LinkedIn as well. So if you want to kind of look into this further, you know, what you need to do is just make sure you experiment things around in LinkedIn. Find people around in LinkedIn and have a connect with them as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about LinkedIn. Do you guys have anything you want to clarify about LinkedIn specifically? Any questions in terms of this? Going once, going twice. Okay, seems not. If you do guys have any questions, please do ask. So let's move on to the very fascinating part of the session, which is the interview session. Okay, which is the interview part of the session, right? Before that, there is this model which I want to show you guys, which is called the IDA model. Now, IDA model is a model which is used in for different reasons many of the times. IDA model could be used for marketing purposes, it's mainly used for marketing sections as well. But IDA model is very important in terms of the recruitment process as well. So what IDA model basically is attention, interest, desire, action into one entire body, right? So attention is how you grab the attention of the recruiter. Now, just see in the general sense of a recruitment process. The recruitment process begins with the candidate putting out the CV into the system or into the recruiter's hand, right? In a physical interview, either put it into the system or giving it to the recruiter. In that specific moment, what you need to do by your CV, through your CV, is to grab the attention, right? So throughout you grabbing the attention is where the recruiter understands, okay, this person is willing to commit and willing to put the effort into getting this job. So that is where you need to focus a lot, right? Now you get through the attention phase. Now you got the grab, you grab the attention. If you don't grab the attention, then you still need to keep fighting for the next phase, which is the interest. You need to make sure, okay, you got the attention or you didn't get the attention, but you need to make sure somehow now that you make the recruiter like you. Now, in order to do this, there are so many different ways. It could be through the CV, it could be through the way you're speaking, or through the way that you're giving out information, or through the way you're expressing yourself about you or what you do. That's how you grab the interest. And if you do grab the interest, you need to show that you want this job role. And in order to do that, you need to show that you have desire. And if you do pass that as well, you need to make sure that you're confident enough that you're getting it. These are the phases of the IDA model, which in a nutshell makes a certain guarantee that you have got the job. Through all these things is what goes through the recruitment process as well, right? So that's a little bit about what the IDA model is. So it's just a natural substance of a model where a recruiter normally perceives into your recruitment process, right? Okay, that's pretty much it on to IDA model. Now, you've gone through CVs, you've seen CVs that goes right, you've seen CVs that goes wrong. What's most important to have a good CV is to make sure you keep it very simple, very short, and very concise to the point. You don't need to add paragraphs. You don't need to make it, too brief, like an entire story of you. You just put the points that are required. You don't need to keep it, how you may say, too brief as well, right? The next is you need to make sure it's visually appealing. Use simple colors, use professional fonts. Do not distract the person away from the CV. make sure it's something good to look at and a good example to be for another CV's comparison as well. So again, like I said in the initial part of this session, you're competing against each other. You need to make sure that your CV is visually appealing good, it's relevant, and it's ATS friendly, right? So all these things are jotted down into having a good CV. Okay. So yes, I've got a question. Sir, is LinkedIn profile as important as the? I think this is it's a previous question I got as well. So yeah, you guys understand this now. Those are the important things when it comes to having a good CV. Okay. All right. Amazing. So I'm guessing there's no question. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can put it down in the chat. So yeah, we understood about all of these things. Now you know what all of these jotted down and comes into is how you brand yourself, right? CV, interview, LinkedIn, all these things comes down to these two words. Initially, I told you this one word called branding. Branding means how you make someone feel about whatever that you want that person to feel about. In this situation, you're making someone feel about yourself into the corporate world. Personal branding is simply that, right? So normally, when it comes to interviews, people get very, very nervous. This is a very common thing. Even when I've done hundreds of interviews with undergraduates, it's a very common theme to see. Undergraduates tend to be very nervous maybe sometimes into a position where they're sweating so much as well. Sweating is a completely fine. It's nothing to be judged about. I do sweat myself as well. It's normal. It's nothing to be crazy about. But the thing is, to show nervousness, it's not really the best ideal way. If you're going to be sitting down to an interview, how you should be acting is not being the most scared or most nervous. When you're going into an interview, you need to be confident. That's the most important thing. Whether you go through the interview, whether you pass the interview or not, it is always an experience. So you need to make sure you are confident, because if you are not confident about yourself, you can forget the fact that the recruiter will be confident about you as well. All right. So there are certain things that you need to make sure that you are ready before the interview itself. Now, in order to go to the interview, you need to make sure you applied for a certain job, right? So let's say you applied, let's say, for example, if you're in the IT faculty, let's say you applied to become an intern for developer in Virtusa, right? So you need to make sure, okay, you applied it, you got set in for an interview. The first screening interview will normally be done by HR. So you need to first make sure you not just have an understanding about what you're getting enrolled for, that is, what is the job role, but you need to make sure you have an understanding about what the company is. Now, a lot of the people who get into these interviews do not know what the company is. There was a person who came for an interview when I was at MAS. They thought MAS is a food and beverage company. So definitely it was a rejection right there. So this person has applied for this job role, came for this interview, spent a lot of effort, time, and just lost the common knowledge of not knowing what the company is. That is, the most simplest question initially asked is, what do you know about the company, right? So if you do not know what the company is, that is going to be a major neglect for what you need to do in the future as well. So make sure you have done a good homework on what the company is, and also about what the job role is. Now, in terms of what the job role is, let's say you're a business management student, you're going for an HR, like HR role specifically. Understand what the job role does. That is, of course, when you apply for some position, there is a job advert, right? In that advert, there's going to be the job description. So look at the job description. If you do not know what it means or what are certain things that are outlined in the job description, you can ask a professor, or you can ask maybe someone who's in the industry. If you do not have either of them, If you are not comfortable to ask either of them, just check with AI as well, because a lot of these, roles and JDs, they might be interpreted into AI, but I do not suggest you to do that. It's much better if you get this understanding from someone who is working in this job role specifically. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Check on calls and emails. That's a must. Um, there are sometimes could be calls from unknown numbers, and one of these call could be from the recruiter themselves. So make sure you're on tap with that. Emails, keep your emails in check. Prepare for responses. This is a very good question, but what I mean by prepare by responses doesn't mean you need to cut apart them in like what that means is, you keep in the points that you need to answer. Let's say this recruiter would ask you the question of what are the most let's say it's a general question. What are the biggest 3 strong points of yours, and what is one weakness of yours? Now, that is a simple question, right? You phrase yourself in a way that you could give good 3 strong points of yours. When you give that one weakness, it shouldn't be. You need to make it tricky as well. It shouldn't be something that would not get you the job role itself. Like, let's say you're going for a customer service representative job role, and you're saying you are not good at you're not good at let's say you're not good at analyzing people's emotions or analyzing people's tones and all those things. You can't say that, because if you're going to say that, you're definitely not going to get the job role compared to someone else, right? It's not being judged upon. It's basically saying that your level of expertise or your level of experience might not catch up to the threshold that the job role is required. But in another sense, you could say, like, you're not good in giving a level of communication. Like, A level means the best level of communication. That's completely fine. You can say that, and you can, after that, you can say, basically, as a counterpoint, you can say, I'm not the best at giving out communication or being good at communication, but I'm learning to communicate with practicality. I'm learning certain things to do. I'm learning to reduce this issue that I have as a weakness. So you need to make sure that these responses are prepared beforehand. So these are questions I asked about, not technical questions, right? It could be technical questions where you can create your responses. Again, when I say create or prepare for your responses, I don't mean to say that you need to, have an entire speech written down. Basically, have certain points written down, which will help you give this answer, right? Prepare your own questions. This is very important, because this is where, in the IDA model, when I say action part, or when I say the desire part, this is where it shows that you have the desire, that you're asking questions, you want this job role, and you want to get it as much as you could, right? So prepare your own questions gives a good impression to the recruiter as well. Plan your wardrobe, how you get there, and all these things as well. When you go for an interview, have a good, professional clothing. It doesn't need to be emerald, or it doesn't need to be in the top biggest brands. That is not required at all, right? It's up to you. If it's your requirement, go for it. But when I say proper wardrobe, it should be something that is professionally attired. It shouldn't be, if you're going for a corporate interview, it shouldn't be of just a normal collarless t-shirt, and it shouldn't be like a denim or something like that. Keep a good sense of track as to what are corporate ethical, wardrobes. Good wardrobe would be if you can wear a shirt and a trouser. And for ladies, it could be, a proper, very professional looking wardrobe, right? So make sure you get all those sorted out beforehand. And when you go there, it doesn't be an issue at all. If it does be an issue over there, then you're going to face distractions, and it's not going to help you during your interview as well. So yeah, these are certain things you have to be prepared when before you are going to the interview. Now, during the interview, this is the most important part. We already spoke about dress well. Next thing, be punctual. If your interview is at 10:30 a.m., you don't need to arrive at least 40 minutes. 30 minutes is good. Arrive at least 40 minutes means if you think you're going to have traffic, come planned for at least a 40 to 30-minute gap so that you are actually on time and you're not late. If you are late, that is a complete no. So the reasons can be multiple. That is completely fine if it is acceptable. If it is not acceptable, do not even think of, you know, getting through that interview, because it's going to be a very red flag. Now, in certain cases during interviews, you might be in an interview during a career fair, you might be in an interview in the company workplace itself, and you might be sitting with certain other people, and you may look at them and you may compare yourself whether to underestimate or to overestimate as well. So make sure when you're over there, you are focused only towards yourself and you are not looking or comparing yourself with others. Others are not even like needed to be compared. Even if your best friend or your someone who's even noticed, who's over there, who you know as well, is available, just keep the conversation lightly, but make sure you're focused as to what you need to do, right? Because every single thing, even at the moment you get into the place you're going to do the interview, you will always be looked into from the moment you enter to the place. You'll be checked. Okay, this person is like this. It's not judged. It's basically seeing how this person handles different situations and tasks, right? So make sure you keep the focus as to what you're going to do there. Make an entrance. Now, entrance doesn't mean, it is time for John Cena, not like that, right? Make an entrance means you are having a bright smile in your face, going there in a proper walk. You don't need to run there. You don't need to push people. You don't need to, push the door hard, or you don't need to drag the chair very fast. And you don't give a good, even not even a look into the recruiter. Don't do those things, because those are going to give you bad or negative highlights. What I mean by make an entrance means when you go there, give a good smile, give a handshake if you can. That'll be a very good point. Give a good greeting, a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You don't need to always say sir. Even during this session, you don't need to say sir. Respect a person, but you don't need to respect that person as to call that person a sir or madam. It's good to be professionally respectful by saying good morning or good afternoon. They have a name, you can say good morning such and good morning such, right? That's all. You don't need to call them sir or madam, right? In certain companies that is needed, but in many of the companies, sir and madam is not required. So talk with a good body language. Make sure you have you're not sliding down, like you're not looking lazy. You have a good upright position, your chest forward, your neck a little bit aligned with your shoulders. You're sitting upright means that, and you have a good eye contact. If you're speaking to someone, you can definitely, you cannot look to the left, you cannot look to the right. What I mean by having eye contact is keeping your focus into what the interview is. If someone is talking from the left, if some distractions is happening left and right, just you don't need to focus on that. Keep the eye contact on the person. Needed hand motions is good if you use hand motions. This is always not too required as well. If you can use hand motions, that's good. If you don't need to, that's completely fine as well, right? These are certain main important things that you need to remember during your interview. Now, after the interview, certain people may feel like I haven't done good in that interview, or I have done great on that interview. But many of the times people do feel like I haven't done good in that interview. I would have done better. This is not what I prepared for. This is not what I worked hard for. Reflecting on the interview doesn't mean that. Reflect on the interview as always as a positive, right? Every time you face an interview, you can always have a positive or a negative response. It's either that. It's not going to be a maybe. It's either that, right? Once after the interview, they might say you got accepted, you might got rejected, or maybe they will say it later. But if they do give it right then and there, you're welcome into the this company, then that's great. Celebrate it elsewhere, not during the interview workplace. Celebrate it elsewhere. But don't always give the impressions like, okay, this might have gone great, but yeah, those kind of impressions are not necessary. In terms of it being a negative response, so let's say then and there they say you might have not passed, or you might not be given the position because of these things. They might say certain reasons as to why the interview might have gone bad, right? Or might have not worked out for you. So you take those reasons, but you don't evaluate it then and there. Okay, you go home, take a good nap, you do something else. Then mainly later, you just look into what might have gone wrong, and you phrase it, you evaluate those things, and you make sure that those things actually might have worked out for you, right? Okay, maybe communication sense, I might have not given out the right sense of understanding. Okay, that's there, right? But in other sense, maybe I have given out certain good points into my outlook, but maybe it wasn't up to par. You can evaluate those things later, but don't take it as a then and there response, right? So yeah, that's what reflecting means. If there is any promise for the future, follow up with like maybe a mail, maybe after a few days or a week. Don't always keep disturbing the recruiter saying, is there something that's happening with my application or my interview? What's next for me? Always like, daily, uday, good morning, නිසංසලා and කෑවද බිව්වද නිදාගත්තද and then you ask මගේ CV එක කොහොමද මගේ interview එක කොහොමද. That's not what I mean by following up. Following up means 3 days later you can just check by maybe sending a mail across. That would be more professional. If they gave you the contact number, you can just send out a good professional message saying hi, such and such, I'm this person. Make sure you introduce yourself. And I would like to know if there is any update about my application process, and that'll be great. Would appreciate much. That's that. That's the way you can follow. Make sure to stay connected. Stay connected by sense. You can always follow up on their Instagram socials. Means not to the recruiters mainly. What I mean by following up with staying connected is through the company's social medias, right? So that you understand where the company is heading into and what are those things as well. Stay positive. That's the most important thing. And be patient. What I mean by all this positive reflection and all these things is you taking everything as an experience. That is what matters. You can go to 100 interviews and you can fail 99 of them. You pass one. That is what matters. That whatever the number of interviews you fail, it doesn't mean they don't matter. It matters because those are the experience that you get in order to achieve that one interview you pass, right? So that's why what matters is you stay positive. You fail the interview, completely fine. You go apply for the next one. You fail that, you apply for the next. You apply, you find the faults from the previous. Be patient throughout this entire process. This process is the most exhausting, is the most troublesome, the most a lot of issues that comes out with this process is by not being patient. So you be patient, you adapt with the situation, and you overcome. That's most important thing, right? So key takeaways in this session is that you remember that your CV is a document that represents you and your personality. It's really good if you could have a killer LinkedIn profile, and following up with the company that you applied on all socials and staying up to date with everything gives you the upper edge of understanding what are the latest trends, what are the latest happenings in that company as well. Last few things I want you to know is this entire process. It'll be tough, it'll be challenging, but make sure you be authentic, right? You be confident. That's what is needed. Be confident through this entire process because it's very difficult to handle certain things if you're not confident about yourself. Be smart. Do not make hasty decisions. If I don't get this interview, Be smart, as in you make smart decisions. Maybe if I put more effort into getting this sort of certification, it might work and it might not. Be smart about your decision makings as well. Right? Throughout it all, you learned about these few words. You learned about a lot of, maybe you learned a new thing or two there. What's most importantly is every time your interview is taking place, they do not look or judge about your CV as much as they look into who you are. And make sure whatever you do, you always be you. Don't interpret someone. You can take someone for an example, but don't be someone. Make sure you be you. Being you gives the upper edge. Being you gives the competitive levelness to someone else. Be much more fruitful if you be you, right? So at the end of all of this, what truly matters is this. In this corporate world, it's a very tricky world out here right now. A lot of layoffs are happening in a lot of different companies. What's most importantly is you craft yourself, you craft your brand through thick and thin. You make sure you get add-ons. Like I said before, your brand is there, but you now have to get add-ons. You craft your advertisement, you put it out there, you publish it, then you get the good highlight reels out of it. So that's what I mean by this entire session. There are certain internship roles coming up for Virtusa for 2026. I'm not sure if these internship roles are available at the moment, but they are going to be open as well. If you want to take a screenshot, that's up to you. I'll give a few seconds into this. So yeah, that is pretty much it into my session. I think I might have taken overtime. I'm so sorry because I know it's a Saturday and it's a weekend. I know you guys maybe want to kind of do something else during this time, but I'm really great that a lot of you people, stayed and wanted to learn something. And I hope I gave something that you wanted as well. This is the time if you want to have any questions or ask any questions, feel free to ask any question you want. I'm here to answer. Okay, so one question came out. It's really great. Is it okay to mention technical skills in the profile summary? They are already listed in the skills section. Okay. If they're already listed in the skills section, you don't need to keep adding the technical skills. Let's say, for example, if you're an IT undergraduate and if you're looking for a software developer role, you can add them into one section. Like if you're having skills, technical skills, you can say in that, I'm good. Like you can put Java or Python or machine language, front-end developing skills or anything like that. You can highlight those things in the technical skills section. If you want to put it into the profile summary, I suggest you put a very summarized or very small part of it into the profile summary. Do not input it too much. You can highlight it furthermore in that skills section. But again, skills section is something optimal if you could, put it into it separately, into like a technical skills section separately. Yeah, and also it's much better if you highlight it during the interview as well. So I hope that answered your question, Nadish. So yeah, any other questions? Okay, if we don't have any other questions, then we can wrap it up. Oh my God, okay, I'm getting the questions. All right, let's go for the first one. So when we do volunteering projects in this university, is it okay to put it in the CV? Yes, yes. It's really good if you can put volunteering projects. Let's say you're working in Leo or something like that, or even Isaac, that's gonna be fine. You put it into the CV, you put it in a separate section. You can put volunteering or you can put extracurricular activities and you can highlight. When you're highlighting things in volunteering projects, make sure to highlight the most key things. Now, if you raised fund for something like that, that's good. If you, created something and innovative, that's really good. Or if it's some outcome that came towards you, that's also good. You learned a lot more on leadership. That's great. That's okay to put into the CV. I hope that answered your question. And so is it better to be multi-skilled or focus on one area as undergrads? I'm very happy you asked that question. I'll give you this as a response for that. Imagine this corporate world. Let's say you're pushing into IT, right? Now, I'm not saying IT is going to be, fully optimized into Gentech AI and all the job roles into the IT world is going to be negated, and a lot of the human operated job roles are going to be now operated by AI. But there possibly could be that outcome as well. We may never know. It's better to have a lot of skills, a lot of niche skills with you. Like I said, you make sure you're a brand. You add on certain things. If it's one scoped, that's up to you. It's much better if you are multi-scoped, meaning multi-skilled. You can be skilled in marketing. You can be skilled in communication. You can be skilled in IT. You can be skilled in HR. For me, take example as myself. My degree is in information technology, specialized in software engineering. I'm doing HR into my workplace. I'm doing business development as another work area in Isaac International. I'm doing I had done marketing and branding in a startup. I'm doing communication training. I'm doing these sessions and all these things differently scoped, right? It's much better you are differently scoped. You keep focusing on that. But also what I suggest is if you're having a goal focused for yourself, you want to be this certain specific person, you keep evolving into that. If you have that specific goal. But if you're unsure about it, and if you want to kind of keep, like getting an understanding of what certain things are, then just, try experimenting things around and find something that works for you, right? I hope that answered that question. Sir, can you please show the previous slide to take a screen? I hope this is what you meant. Okay. All right, another one. Is it difficult to apply for a role with a new tech skill if my previous internship was in a different one? Not really. So let's say you're applying for a business analyst. Business analyst is not a specifically tech rolled job role. If you are applying for it, and if you have done, maybe let's say if you were a developer previously, if you have some understanding or learning about business analyst, how a business analyst is, for your information, or if not many people know, business analyst is where you are basically communicating with the client of the requirements from the client to what the software application should be made by a product servicing company, right? So if you do not know what a business analyst is, then it will be difficult to get into that job role. But if you do know, and if you have learned or inherited some sort of learning, or if you want to keep learning in this new role that you're wanting to apply, then go for it. If you're wanting to learn into a new tech stack, keep learning it, and then you can apply. That's completely fine. It's no worries about you having a different tech stack before, and you're having something else now. It's completely fine. This is something natural that happens even during inter-project transfers as well. If you have some sort of other tech stack in your arsenal, but if you don't have the tech stack that is needed for what you want to pursue, then it will be fine if you're wanting to learn and if you have some sort of a idea about it. So I hope that answers that question. If a job description lists specific skills like cloud knowledge, but I lack hands-on experience in that area, will I be no. You won't be automatically rejected. So if let's say you lack hands-on experience, that's complete. It's an entry-level job role, right? Many companies, some companies nowadays do have that, do have a small issue of highlighting how many years or months of experience you need to have in order to get this job role, right? Even especially for entry level job roles as well. Sometimes it could be 2 years of experience even for an entry level job role. But that's not the case, right? If you go for an interview, if you apply for that, it can be a different case. The reason that might have been said there is because that is like the minimum threshold sometimes that the manager of that team is looking to hire. But if you are someone who's wanting to learn about this, or you have a knowledge about this but you don't have practical experience, that's completely fine. You can still apply and you can say that you have been learning and you want to learn more and you want to adapt some hands-on experience and to keep pushing into this sort of tech knowledge. That's you can something try and see. That's completely fine. You don't need to stop yourself from applying just because of that reason. Good questions. I really like these questions. Anything else? Any other questions you guys have? By the way, Tarul or the organizers, have I gone over the time? Just checking. I hope I haven't.
Yes, sir, it's fine.
Oh, I might have. Okay. Okay. If that is not, if there is no other questions, and if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'm there on LinkedIn as well. You can just send a message. You can ask anything from me. I'll definitely try my best to help all of you. And again, a very huge thank you for all of you for staying and listening to this session. I hope you got something out of it as well, maybe one or two things, or maybe some new things. And if you didn't get a new kind of perception, I hope you got some sort of an understanding of the previous things you might have known as well. So like I always said, don't wait for the world to notice you. Start becoming someone that is impossible to be ignored, right? This is the most key important highlight. Be you. And I hope all of you have a great weekend and you keep yourself updated with the latest news, latest things that are happening in this corporate world, in the world itself as well, that will help you get to where you want to be. So yeah, that's that from my end. Thank you so much, Tarul and the Career Guidance Club team for doing an amazing job in organizing this session. Huge kudos to all of you. And also thank you very much for Mr. Akila for inviting me to do this session. Thank you all of you for staying for this session as well. I hope you guys have a great week.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eranga, for such an insightful and inspiring session. And just a small reminder for all the participants, please, we have shared a Google form in the chat box, which is required you to fill and to fill to your gain your certificates. So make sure you will fill it correctly. And then before we proceed to the vote of thanks, we would like to take a moment to express our sincere appreciation to Mr. Eranga Bowatte for generously sharing his time, knowledge, and valuable insights with us today. Your guidance on CV writing and personal branding has truly added a great value to our learning, and we also think we are confident it will positively impact our career journey. So, Mr. Eranga, thank you once again for being a part of this session. Now, to formally conclude today's program, I now invite the Secretary of the Career Guidance Club, Andrusha Karunaratna, to deliver the vote of thanks. Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrusha Karnaratna, and I serve as the secretary of the Career Guidance Club. And it is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks for Career Catalyst 2.0. First and foremost, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Mr. Eranga Bowatte for an engaging and informative session. Your practical advice and real-world perspectives were extremely valuable to our undergraduates. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Gaya Namarsurya, Director of the Career Guidance Unit, and Mr. Akila Auchud Pandara, Career Guidance Counselor, for their continuous support in guiding students towards successful career paths. My appreciation also goes to all the students who joined here today. Your active participation and enthusiasm throughout the session was greatly valued. Finally, I would like to thank the organizing team of this event, the Career Guidance Club of OLS University and the Career Guidance Unit for their dedication and teamwork in making this event a success. Thank you. So before we wind up the session, I request everyone to turn your cameras for quick group photo. Thank you everyone for your active participation. Also, now I would like to sincerely thank the Career Guidance Unit, the Career Guidance Club, and each one of you for spending your time with us today. We hope this session becomes a meaningful step forward in your career journey. Have a wonderful evening ahead.